morning and welcome to part 10 of my Women Who Run with the Wolves series by Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes. So today we're going to be talking about creativity. We're going to be talking about how important it is in our lives, as well as some ways that we can kind of keep that creative flow going. So the author starts off this chapter by talking about how a woman's creative ability is her most valuable asset, because it's something that we give to the world, but we also give it to ourselves. Through our creativity, we kind of feed ourselves physically, psychically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, sometimes even economically. And she talks about how important our own personal connection to creativity is, and how when we stop creating, it can kind of be a sign that things are wrong in other parts of our life. It's kind of like the first warning sign that things are not going well or that we've lost connection to ourselves. This is something I actually experienced recently when my grandmother passed away. I had to halt all of my creative efforts for a little bit just because I had to get things done, and I'm slowly coming back to them. But without them, I really did feel it. I felt like I was so upset and frustrated, like I had nowhere to put all of this emotion that I usually put into my work. It didn't have anywhere to go, and for a little bit it was kind of reflecting on me negatively. So one of the things that the author talks about is she relates our creativity to being like a river, like a clear flowing river, and when we aren't doing well in our lives, our river kind of starts to become polluted. Our creativity suffers. So this is another chapter where she starts talking about balance and about how we have to set time aside for ourselves and our hobbies. And one of the things that I really liked is she talks about how it's not good enough to just have a day or two once or twice a year to work on things. We have to pencil ourselves into our own lives, and we sort of have to prioritize ourselves. I think one of the best ways she said this, and this was something that like really stuck with me, was she said, art is not meant to be created in stolen moments only. And I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to, because I think a lot of people really do sort of kind of put their passions on the back burner for other things in life. And I just don't think it should be that way. I think if it's something that really lights you up and really gives you life energy, you should put as much energy as you can into that. One of the other parts of this chapter that I really liked is when she starts talking about reality and what's real. One of the things that I think I struggle with a lot is I kind of struggle with the idea of being a real artist. I paint, I write, I play music, I create, but there's always this like little bug that's constantly pulling at the back of my mind that always kind of tells me that I'm not good enough to be considered a real artist. The author challenges this, and I thought that was really cool. She talks about us as creatives being real when we take that first step. She says a flower is still a flower when it's on the main stem, a tree is still a tree when it's still a seed in a pine cone. It's kind of like we have to accept all parts of the journey. And that part of the book just kind of made me feel a little bit better about that. That was just something that I've been kind of struggling with for a long time. So to kind of go back to the point about our creativity being a river, the author also talks about how we have to clean our waters when they become polluted. She says we start to do this by learning how to take a compliment, and this is something that I think everyone honestly needs to learn. We need to learn to accept when people are giving us their kindness, and we need to be happy with that. We don't need to do the things of, oh, you're lying, or oh, you're crazy, it's not that good. We need to break that apart. That's something that I've talked about with my friends too. When someone is saying good things to you, you should accept it. Don't put yourself down. It doesn't serve you, you know? She also talks about actually beginning. I think a lot of times people talk about starting ideas, but they get so afraid that they don't actually do it. And you should just start. Even if you fail, you start over. You know, everyone sucks at something at first, and so you just keep going and going, and you slowly get better. You continue to pick yourself up over and over again. You can't allow yourself to stagnate. So in order to clean your river, you have to stay with it. You have to water your craft constantly. The author also tells us that in order for us to thrive creatively, we need support. This is another chapter where once again, she's warning us against people who do not support our creative efforts, and kind of reminds us that if they don't support us, they're not really worth our time. Our creative hobbies and our plans and our ideas need nurture. They need warmth from not only ourselves, but the people around us. And once again, she talks about the importance of rest. We can't expect our kind of fiery passion in us to stick around forever. We still need to take times to like relax and renew, and then we can sort of burn again with our creative energy. So all in all, I found this chapter to be probably one of the most interesting ones, because it kind of put a lot of things into perspective for me as someone who sometimes feels kind of lost creatively. So it was nice to feel a little bit validated as well as kind of get advice on how to manage different things in the creative sphere.